Hello, creators, and welcome to Rediscovering Be Something Wonderful, where we revisit timeless classics from deep within our video archives. Today's video reveals the real secret to living a life of outrageous abundance. Abundance isn't something you attract, it's something you are. Abundance doesn't come from effort, strategy, or action. It comes from being, from choosing the version of yourself for whom abundance is normal, natural, and inevitable. So today, as we revisit this powerful classic, you'll remember the truth that changes everything. You are the one and only source of the abundance you seek. It's done. Now, let's open the vault once again and receive this reality-shifting reminder. Welcome back to Be Something Wonderful. I am your host, Tom Kearin, and this is the Be Something Wonderful studio of higher consciousness, where we help you level up and become the best version of yourself. Creators, good morning, and welcome back to the studios of Be Something Wonderful. I have a massive video for you today. We're going to talk about the question that is common in the reality creation communities, in the law of assumption groups and forums, and all of these questions around creating your own reality, right? And here's the big question that's asked a lot. I get asked a lot and others do, and we've answered it in many different ways in our more than 3,000 videos here on the channel. But I want to talk about it again and see if we can really unpack it like we never have before. Here's the question. Tom, I imagined and I assumed it. I felt fulfilled. In other words, I saw my desired outcome. I assumed my imagined end. I'm in the end. I'm in the end of wish fulfilled. I see what I want. I'm in that frame of reality. Right? But then I wake up the next morning, or I open my eyes, or a day or two goes by, then I'm brought back, hear the wording here, to the same old reality. How come I didn't manifest it now? If there's only now, if we are that I am awareness, and you are, since you are that I am awareness, why didn't I manifest it now? Since I am that multidimensional being, I'm all realities, and all of my desires are already fulfilled within me. How come after I assumed it, imagined it, it didn't materialize or manifest now? I want to talk about this like we never have before, because remember, you're looking at now from a linear perspective. It's that grip of linear time. It's that root assumption, right? That core belief in the idea of linear time. And so you even look at the idea of now as a linear now, right? You're looking at your present as the now moment, right? The present, which you use as a placeholder, right? To get to some future that you're imagining and you're hoping for, or fixing some past that you no longer want to associate with, or that you want to be different, or you're just reminiscing about a past that is no longer, right? And that you're wishing to return to that past. Whatever it is, you're using the present as a placeholder and you're calling that now. Remember, when we speak of now, now is not linear. Here is not linear. Here and now is that eternal here and now, where you are a multidimensional being living all of your lives right now, one superimposed over another, one identity superimposed over another, one memory or frame or life superimposed over another, where you're looking out from some vantage point or viewpoint as source, right? Knowing yourself experientially as source through a linear physical experience. It's all being created now, so it's not linear. We're going to return to this Deep Space Nine episode of Star Trek, Emissary, where it's a masterclass. That episode, Star Trek, Deep Space Nine, DS9, Emissary, is a masterclass in letting go the idea of linear time and seeing yourself fulfilled right now. Remember, it's not linear. All that is, the eternal now, is right here and now. All images, all memories, all frames, all lives, all of your lives, past, present, and future, are right now. One frame superimposed over another. And as you look out through a certain perspective, you create that linear idea of an experience, of a manifested past that you either feel guilty about or regret or don't want to think about, or you have memories of good things, happy times, and you want to only remember those. You want only those to be your past. And you sit in this present that you call now, but you're actually using as a placeholder to fix your past, heal your past, and get to a future that you hope to, that you're imagining, that you want to experience. All using that now moment. But remember, there's no past, there's no present, there's no future. That's an idea of that linear experience, that linear existence. But remember, you exist not just in those linear ideas of reality, but in all realities, all possibilities. Now, 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 as Abraham Hicks would say, right? Now, now, now. It's not the past, it's now. It's not the present, it's not now. It's not the future, it's now. But you're looking at it, your present and your now, that placeholder. And that's what you mean by I didn't manifest it now. You're using that placeholder, it's not happening, nothing has changed. We're going to talk about this like we never have before. So we'll come back to this. So you say, I imagined it, I affirmed it, I assumed it. Why has nothing changed? Right? Why don't I shift and manifest it right now? I close my eyes, I relax, I imagine and assume my new life, but I'm being brought back, hear this, brought back to my old identity and reality. What's the point? But it's not linear. So when you say right now, you're putting that through an assumption, through a filter, through a limiting filter, a limiting linear filter of what right now means to you. The here and now we're talking about is absolute fulfillment, love, and totally healed and complete here and now, right now. That's not linear. Right now is not linear, but the way you're looking at it is linear. You receive, you manifest, you create, and you experience love, money, success, the improved body that you want, the healing that you want, here and now or not at all. And not at all doesn't exist. Non-existence does not exist. So it's all here and now, but not in the here and now that you see as a placeholder through a linear lens. But the eternal here and now, it's right now, it's not linear. That's why I wanted to get to that deep space episode, right? The emissary, it's not linear. I've talked about this now in many videos, right? Where we set the context of this episode, where you have Commander Sisko, assigned by Starfleet, and Captain Picard as a commander of Deep Space Nine, DS9. And this certain starship orbits the planet Bajor. The planet Bajor. To help the Bajorians, or to help Bajor enter the Federation. Sisko holds Picard responsible for ordering an attack on Sisko's Starfleet where his wife died. When Picard was under Borg control. All you Star Trekkies will probably know this, right? When it was under Borg control. In other words, Picard was being controlled by the Borg and ordered an attack on his own ships. And the ship was commanded by Sisko. And this is where his wife died. And so Sisko keeps returning to that memory, to the ship where his wife died. And he holds Picard responsible, right? So the Bajorans are spiritually advanced beings, right? And so this sets the tone, right? They're spiritually advanced beings. And so they don't, the tone here is they don't see linear time, right? They're spiritually advanced. They're always in that now moment. So Sisko meets with their spiritual leader, who appears to be seeking help from Sisko and finding some missing green orbs. These green orbs can look into the past, right? They can look into the nowness of the moment. But what Sisko discovers, if you Google Deep Space Nine, Star Trek, right, Emissary, you can watch the episode. It's powerful. But we're going to pick a few scenes from this, right? And I've talked about one in detail on the video, but today we're going to unpack even further into this episode. Sisko discovers, though, during this, that his real journey is to reclaim his own power and to remember who he really is. That it's actually the spiritually advanced beings that we're going to refer to as the light beings, the light, or your I am awareness, that awareness of being, right? The spiritual light within you, right? That's what they really represent. So it's your I am awareness, that light within you, your higher self, right? You can look at that spiritual leader as your higher self, helping you discover your power, helping you reclaim your power, right? That you've given to your linear existence, right? This idea of linear time. So let's unpack this here. And Deep Space Nine Emissary, it's not linear, right? Commander Sisko is explaining, while explaining to the light, or that awareness, or that I am, right? The spiritually advanced beings, the light, he's explaining the human experience and the importance of linear time to them. Right, you hear this? So these spiritually advanced beings, right? He explained that I am awareness that you are. Right? We're always trying to explain away our limitations, argue for our limitations, right? So think of the conversation, you with your own light, right? Sisko, he says to the light, right? A human is the sum of his experiences. Remember, he's explaining the linear existence, the human experience, saying that we're the sum. A human is the sum of his experiences, right? Versus that you're new in every moment, and that you're not the sum of your experiences. You're the awareness within which all those experiences take place. But you see, he's looking at it from a linear perspective. And so that's why he keeps returning to the ship where his wife died, and holds Captain Picard responsible, and holds all these grievances of not living the life that he wants, right? The light then asks him, experiences, what is this? They don't understand that. Experiences, because they remember that awareness that you are, that God that you are, that one reality, that one all that isness. You can even think of the light as all that is. Only sees one experience, one awareness. It doesn't see various experiences. It only sees the experience of love, fulfillment, wholeness. Sisko answers, memories. He's trying to explain to them, memories, images, right? In other words, he says memories, but I'm talking about what are memories? They're mental images, that they all exist. Events from my past, he's saying. So now we're dividing up those memories, those images. We exist in all of them. Now we're saying some are our past. And the light asks the past. They don't understand any of that, but remember, it's supposed to be a conversation between you. Of course, remember, they don't look at, you're going to probably say, well, if they're spiritually advanced beings, if it's God, if it's all that is, if it's the all-knowing awareness or light, how is it that they don't know that? But remember, that all-knowing means there's only one reality. They don't recognize the unreality of the past, of memories and images that you don't want, that you want to get rid of. They just see it all as one awareness. That's why, right? So Sisko continues to explain things that happen before now. He's trying to explain the idea of linear time, linear experiences, linear images that we hold on to from our past. Wow, that's powerful. Before now. Do you see it? Using now in a linear sense. There's nothing before now or after now. Now is an eternal concept. There's no beginning, there's no end. There's no borders at all to that now. But do you see it before now? Before Abraham, I am. Do you see it? So there is no, this is what we get stuck in, that making now a linear concept. And then the light says this, what comes before now, hear this, is no different than what is now and what is or what is to come. It's one's existence. Wow. One's existence. One existence in one's existence. There's nothing that comes before now, and there's nothing that comes after. There's nothing to come. It's all the same. That's what the light's saying here. That's powerful. And then as Cisco continues, the light doesn't recognize what he's talking about. The light's saying, linear time, what's that? And he's explaining how he lost his wife who died on that ship. Lost, what's that? Right? Losing his wife in the past. So remember, it's that demonstration that God within you, that one awareness, doesn't recognize loss, doesn't recognize linear time. It's an unreality. It's not reality. There's only the love of this present moment. This is powerful. The light, so as Cisco's explaining losing his wife and her not, he's digging in. He said, no, she doesn't exist anymore with me. Or she's not here anymore. And the light goes, she's part of your existence. Part of your existence. Cisco goes, she is part of my past. She's no longer alive. She was part of my past. She is no longer alive. Right? She's part of my past. She's no longer there. She's part of my past. She's no longer alive. This is powerful. The light says, but she is part of your existence. Do you see how they're insisting here? Right? Remember, existence is existence. We're saying, oh yeah, I've lost something. She's no longer there, no longer alive. But Cisco says, it continues, as the light insists that she's part of your existence, Cisco, again, arguing for his limitations, arguing for linear time as we do. She was a most important part of my existence, but I lost her some time ago. Wow. That idea, right? They're saying, no, she exists now. And always existed, right? And he's saying, well, no, I lost her. She was an important part of my existence, but no longer exists. The light says, lost? What is this? Do you see it? They don't get that because they don't recognize loss. Remember, you might say, well, how is it, if it's an all-knowing being, if it's an all-knowing light, how is it they don't know that? Because remember, what God knows, God becomes, God is. And God, it's impossible for God to be lost or negative or evil or any of that stuff that we say that we argue for our limitations, right? That God knows nothing of that. Only knows that one existence that you are, that it is, right? As Cisco digs in, arguing for his limitations in linear existence, right? Because he's arguing for the whole idea of linear existence. The light says, hear this. It is inconceivable that any species could exist in such a manner. It's inconceivable to God, to your higher self, to your I am awareness. What does that really mean? It doesn't recognize or know the unreality of limitation, the unreality of separation, the unreality of linear time, the unreality of loss and struggle and fear and non-fulfillment. It doesn't recognize that. In your recognition, you're creating that experience. Non-existence doesn't exist. So all-knowing means it only knows love, fulfillment, or reality, the truth of reality, because there's nothing else outside of that. That's why, right? That's what's real. That's what God knows God is, God becomes. And it's only love. God can't be any of those things. God can't be limited or separate or experience loss or fear or struggle and non-fulfillment, or it would become it, and that's impossible. God is perfect, and so are you, right? Because you were made in God's image. Be perfect as your Father in heaven is perfect. That's what that whole message is. So, Cisco, I love this episode, as you guys can see. I'm lit up with it. Cisco, that's the essence of linear existence. So he starts going in. This is the cool. Linear existence is so cool. This is the essence. Each day affects the next day. Right? So you believe in that idea that if that happened yesterday, that affects who I am today and who I'll be tomorrow. Wow. When it's all right now and you get to decide who you are. Wow, do you see this? Cisco bringing him, and it's this idea that Cisco's bringing himself back to the ship and the day his wife died on the Borg attack. So now in this episode, he's seeing memories and images, right, of his wife dying on that ship, continually being brought back, bringing himself back to that image. Again, when he's talking with the light, he's seeing the good images too. When he first met his wife, when they went on a picnic, when they talked about having a child, all of those happy times. But then he keeps being brought back to that image that he doesn't want to remember. But remember, you exist in all images. You exist in all realities. But where you live is where you choose. You are a multidimensional, you are all that is. You exist and will always exist, right? So you are existence, but where you live, what you decide to focus on as that awareness is your choice. That's your free will. So he keeps going back to that scene. And then he says to the light, I don't want to be here. They're showing him on the ship, finding his wife, right, dead. And the light says, then why do you exist here? If you don't want to be here, why do you exist here? And remember, he of course does exist in that image, but he exists in all images. So there's really what they're saying, then why do you live here? Why are you deciding to live here? Cisco, I don't understand. Yeah, we don't understand. We don't understand that we're that immortal being that's in all realities. The light keeps going, well, you exist here. Meaning you're living there in that image. You're still on the ship, right, with your dead wife, right? The bigger message is you exist in all memories and images, all realities and identities and versions of you. Not just the judged happy and good memories, which the light was showing him, but it's about integrating all the images and memories, all that you exist in. And knowing the totality of your existence here and now. Not the here and now in a linear sense, put through a linear filter. And then you choose where to live. In other words, you choose what to experience as that allness. Right? To know yourself experientially as source. You're a simultaneous, infinite, multidimensional being that exists everywhere, as everything all at once, like the movie. But where you choose to live is up to you. That's why I brought a couple years ago, there was one of you that I talked with, and you coined the idea that I don't live there anymore. Or we talked about this idea that I don't live there anymore. I don't live there anymore. I exist in all memories, but I don't live there anymore. I'm not going to live in the one that's not my choice. It's not my preference. This was powerful, right? This was powerful. We're going to get back to this. Remember, you always exist as a complete, whole, and fulfilled being now. Not in linear time. You always exist as complete, whole, healed, and fulfilled now, but not in your linear idea of now, where you look at it as a placeholder to get somewhere else, to fix something, repair something, imagine something, manifest something. It's not in linear time. There's no value in the unknown. This is powerful, right? There's no value in believing that your future is unknown, that when you assume something, that it's uncertain or it's unknown whether you'll experience it, right? But that's what we're saying when we're talking about linear time, that there's a value there, right? In other words, not knowing when or if your wishes will be fulfilled in the future. Cisco using baseball as an analogy, saying it wouldn't be worth playing if we knew the outcome. Using baseball, but remember, so Cisco's digging in. But remember, you already are in all outcomes. Right? It's like saying, I'm not going to go to a movie because I know the end, I know how the movie's going to end. Or you go to the movie because you know that you're going to be fulfilled no matter what. The light responds. So you value your ignorance of what is to come? Wow. I love this. The light goes, so you value your ignorance of what is to come, meaning all outcomes are possible. And you create the experience that you're experiencing that for the first time. That from a different vantage point, from a different viewpoint. But you're already all experiences. The outcome is assured. It's a sure thing. Your fulfillment, your healing, everything you want is already yours. All outcomes have already been determined. And you know what they are? A happy ending. It's all yours already. In other words, all outcomes exist here and now. And you exist in all of them. Your assumptions and affirmations are you choosing what is already there to experience. It's already there. That's what the assumptions and affirmations are. For you to choose what's already there to experience it again from another viewpoint. That gives you that experience of an unknown future. But remember, all of it's already known. As that's written, you know it's already yours. When you assume it and affirm it, it means it's yours. It means you're choosing it. There's no doubt. But we create the idea that, oh, it's not here now in that linear now, so it didn't work. I don't understand what's going on. But remember, it's not the linear now, it's the here and now, the only here and now, where it's a sure thing. And it's a sure thing you get to experience it again from a different vantage point or perspective. But you don't immediately see it and perceive it in the linear now. So you declare non-fulfillment. You doubt and think it's uncertain. When it's all perfectly certain, it's already there. This is powerful. So let's continue. I assumed it, but it's not here now. Again, that idea of a linear now. And you're seeing now as a linear experience versus the simultaneous reality. Right? It's a simultaneous reality of now, here and now. Therefore, you declare that your assumptions, your affirmations, and the processes aren't working or don't work. Always returning or bringing you back to your experience of non-fulfillment. Wow. Do you see it? That's what brings you back. Because you say, oh, it's not here now. I thought it doesn't. I can manifest it now. But you're looking at the linear now. It is here and now. Then, like Cisco, you say, what's the point of bringing me back to this? That's what Cisco says to the light. What's the point? Why do you keep bringing me back here? That's what we keep saying. Why do I keep opening my eyes or getting up in the morning or looking around and I'm still unfulfilled? I'm still not where I want to be. It's still not there. What's the point then? What's the point of it bringing me back? Because you keep returning to that, what you believe is your same identity or same reality. And the light says, we did not bring you here. You bring us here. You exist here. Do you see it? No one's bringing you back there. That's you. You exist there. But remember, you exist in all possibilities. But you're choosing to live there or dwell there. Right? Cisco then says to the light, then give me the power to lead you anywhere or somewhere else, anywhere else. And what does the light say? We cannot give you what you deny yourself. Look for solutions from within, Commander. In other words, you're the operant power. So we can do video after video pointing you back to it. But it's up to you to decide or to choose where you're going to live. You exist in all possibilities. It's already done. The ultimate script has been written. God gave you everything, and God guaranteed that you have everything and that you are everything by making you everything. This is powerful today. So, like Neville Goddard says, you are the operant power. Cisco never left the ship. This was his discovery. This was where this was the shift within him, the movement. The light, and he says, he goes, I wanted to die on that ship with her, right? And they go, die? What is this? And then the light, another light being answers it. It's the termination of their linear existence. That's what death or the death experience is. It's not the termination of existence. It's a linear experience, a linear existence. I never left this ship, so he gets it now, right? Cisco's beginning to wake up to his power, beginning to claim his power. I never left the ship. The light, you exist here. They keep saying that. You exist here. Cisco finally repeats it. I exist here. He's getting it, right? The moment of acceptance. Here's the big note here. I get a chill when I think about this scene. It's the moment of acceptance that he exists in all realities, all memories, all images, all versions, all identities. But where he gets to live is his choice. I exist here, right? No longer now seeing it from a linear time perspective or a linear existence. Cisco, I see her like that, and he's breaking down as he's seeing his wife laying there, right, on the ship. I see her like this every time I close my eyes, right? This idea that we keep remembering those that we believe that were those past memories or any images, right? The light says none of your past experience help you prepare for this consequence. This is powerful because remember, Cisco was arguing the power of experiences building on each other, that those experiences create or are connected to your experience the next day or the next year or the next month. Remember, he was talking about that. But linear experiences are irrelevant. They're irrelevant. It doesn't matter, right? Remember you were saying what comes the next day or after that experience. That's the excitement, right? But the light says, but none of your past experiences helped you prepare for this consequence. Because it's all happening now. And Cisco says, and I have never figured out how to live without her. That's what he says. He's been on that ship, right? And the light says, so you choose to exist here. In other words, you choose to live and dwell here. And the light says, it's not linear. And then finally, Cisco, right, in tears here, no, it's not linear. This was his true healing. He's now integrating that split mind, integrating that and seeing himself as that whole divine mind, right? Integrating that lower mind of separation and limitation and loss, right? That's what it really means to heal. That seems powerful. So let's continue with this. Remember, you exist in all possible outcomes, all images, all realities, all memories. Knowing this, that it is all simultaneous, it's all together in a whole, healed, integrated mind that you really are, like Cisco is now seeing through that integrated mind, it heals your incomplete seeing and your partial perception. So I get these questions, well, how do I heal myself from this or that? Or how do I manifest this or that? Remember, all of that is due to incomplete seeing, partial perception, right? Believing the here and now is a linear experience versus an eternal experience, a simultaneous experience of all that you are. This was such a powerful demonstration of the true meaning of denial, right? Or that idea that I don't live there anymore, right? That's a powerful use of it. That I did a video on that where one of you that I talked to says, I don't live there anymore. I exist in all realities, but I don't live there anymore in the one that's not preferred. I know that's all part of me, but I'm going to integrate it into all that I am and decide what I'm going to choose where I live now as a multidimensional, complete, healed being. That's why the 3-second imaginal scene, imagining maybe that you're getting congratulated, or that you received a bunch of money, or that you got the promotion, or that you're with the person you love. Right? That 3-second scene, but from the idea that you're all realities, that here and now is a greater, the real meaning of here and now is that greater understanding that you're a simultaneous being, instead of putting it through the filter of linear separation and limitation. Right? Not the linear now, but the integrated one now moment. Wow. Shift now, right? Shift now. That it's not linear. Shift now to your outrageous life of abundance. I am your host, Tom Kearin, and this is the Be Something Wonderful studio of higher consciousness, where we help you level up and become the best version of yourself. Creators, thank you. Thank you for being with me. Thank you for liking and sharing and commenting on our videos. Thank you for being part of our Facebook group, The Ambassadors, at facebook.com/groups/Be Something Wonderful, for joining us on Instagram and Twitter at Tom Kearin, TikTok at Be Something Wonderful, anywhere on social media at Tom Kearin or Be Something Wonderful, you'll find us. Also, our membership channel. Thank you for being a member And we have another video. I've promised this video. It's coming, that we're working on for the membership channel. But more importantly than that, we have another live stream that we're going to be announcing very shortly. We're going to come to you live right here from the studios at Be Something Wonderful with another live event where we answer your questions that you're sending to us at info@besomethingwonderful.com, and we'll answer your questions right on the live stream. That will be announced. That will be on the membership channel. If you're a member, join us. If you're not, check out the link below. Creators with great love, with great light and infinite gratitude. This is Tom Kearin here in the studios of Be Something Wonderful. Until next time, we'll see you soon.